Yo dudes, Novinator here, and as some of you probably know, I am a recovering Narutard. Yes, the manga I had once regarded as a suitable successor to Dragon Ball of all things in the world of shonen has slowly but surely become the manga equivalent of Twilight. Even after it started to hit me just how hard the series had fallen, I continued to meander through the chapters week after week as my brain cells slowly rotted away, for the sole fact that the chapters were so ridiculously easy to keep up with. But when my online manga reader of choice got shut down, it seemed like a good place to call it quits for good. And while I cannot tell you how big of a relief it was to no longer have to endure such suffering week after week after week after week, it kind of is unfortunate. After all, Naruto wasn't always a complete piece of shit, and despite being so fed up with it, there were still a couple of plot points I was still mildly curious about. Most notably the true identity of the oddball masked Akatsuki member that was Tobi. Personally, I've always been a subscriber to the aptly named Obi-Tobi theory, the belief that his true identity was that of Obito Uchiha, a childhood friend of Kakashi's long thought to be dead after a gruesome rock climbing incident. Or something like that, fuck if I remember. And why not? It would have presented some actually pretty interesting story opportunities and actually made a good bit of sense. They had the same hairstyle, color, similar personalities, for a while. And in the Japanese katakana, their names were the equivalent of backwards. Well, that theory took 1 step forward, 2 steps back. Or 3 steps forward as I saw it, but we'll get to that. When Tobi revealed his goofball personality to be a total farce, and proclaimed himself to be an Uchiha, just not the one we were expecting. He claimed his identity to be that of Uchiha Madara, a powerful ancient ninja who by all accounts should be dead 3 times over due to old age alone. Unlike surviving a rock slide, which is actually, plausible. Many people took this as indisputable evidence that he couldn't possibly be Obito. Case closed, no questions. We're just going to take that at face value. So you can imagine people's perfectly justified shock when the actual Uchiha Madara showed up as one of Kabuto and Tobi's many resurrected Legion of the Dead.
Holy shit! The major villain who's already shown himself to be a pathological liar and master manipulator, but has yet to actually show his face or do anything to prove his identity other than mention the person's name, isn't actually that person? That's impossible!
Yeah, I'm sorry, but I never bought for 2 seconds that this guy was actually Madara, and dismissed anyone who claimed he was as a moron of the highest caliber. I'm sorry if that sounds harsh, but it's true. I'd say it was because it was such an obvious setup to create a future plot twist for when we learned that he wasn't Madara. But it's not really a plot twist if it's obvious, now is it? The guy did nothing to convince the audience or the characters that he was who he said he was. He proved that he had the Uchiha clan's powers, but as Kakashi has taught us, that doesn't necessarily even make him an Uchiha. Even if he was, you didn't know he was Madara. He could have been Steve Uchiha for all you fucking know. So why the fuck would you believe him? It's not even a matter of intelligence. I genuinely question the mental stability of anyone who believes a word of someone who looks like this. Anyway, this shocking revelation was enough to snap most people back to reality and resume wondering what Tobi's actual identity was. And today, their patience paid off. He is Obito. Shocker. I never would have called that one. I don't know. I just don't know. It was so not obvious. Now, as I said at the top of this little mess, I don't care about Naruto anymore. At all. So, as much as I'm reveling in the vindication of this newest revelation, I realize that I'm being a little ridiculous. I really don't have a right to mock the people who doubted this theory. The ones who harassed me endlessly about it for years on end. I'm going to anyway. I was right, you were wrong, so I'll sing an impromptu song. Not my fault, the show's cliche, at least soon it'll go away. Look out! It's a shitty manga! That's all I got. Gator's gonna gate!